Got with us Ameera Shah, Executive Chairperson and Whole-Time Director at Metropolis Healthcare, joining in on the show right now. Ameera, hi, afternoon. Good to speak with you. Tell me, what have been your readings from the budget and the biggest takeaway for you and your industry?
Thanks for having me on the show. I think it's been a budget, the kind of budget that I think we needed, where really we are giving the indication. GY has given the indication of saying that look, our human capital is actually the most precious in India, and that's what we need to build towards in the future. And I think they're spot on when it comes to that. I think we certainly need to see not only unemployment levels come down, but we certainly need to see the level of people who are coming out of graduate degrees be able to get jobs. And I think getting them skilled, getting them to be more advanced is certainly going to be very important, especially in the modern day of AI, where we are expecting that artificial intelligence will come in and at least start to take over some of the more manual jobs. It's very, very important that India is at a crossroads where we are able to skill our people to the next level of advanced recruitment and employment to be able to take it forward. I mean, if you just take healthcare, for example, we have such a dearth of talent, across levels. While it's not so bad at the bottom levels, of the guys who are really on the field, as you get higher, things get more and more challenging. And really, that ability to promote people, that ability to advance people is a real challenge because of communication skills, management abilities. While they can do their functional role okay, that also usually takes us a few years to train them, even after they come out of a fresh college. So I certainly think the skilling part of it is a very good step forward. Unfortunately, nothing much on healthcare in the budget this time. There were a few exceptions made on cancer drugs, customs duty, and on X-rays, which are all positive things. But certainly, we would have liked to see, a GST movement to sort of a zero-based or a 5% kind of a GST output. As we know, for many years, we've been saying that the healthcare industry has been severely burdened with input costs on GST, but we get no offset on the credit. And that's a big cost to consumers at the end of the day. So we certainly wish we could have seen more action on the healthcare front, but on everything else, I think it's been a positive.
The other thing, because Ameera, your industry is highly competitive. There is always, that pricing competition, which continues to go on. There was anticipation that perhaps there could be some relief coming in for the common man when it comes to life, health insurance, etc., which could be sensitive to your sector in some ways. But that really hasn't come about. But do you think it could come about outside the ambit of the budget? Or, could the government really move in that direction?
Actually, if you look at health services, if you look at, you've got to slice them into different sides, right? If you look at diagnostics, for example, the average spend is maybe 600-700 rupees once a year, which really is not breaking anybody's bank or wallet, right? I think where people are really getting challenged is more on the hospital side, where you sort of get into a hospital and you get a big bill of 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs, and that's where people are really struggling. And obviously, health insurance costs then escalate for people. Having said that, I think from a global perspective, our health insurance premiums are significantly lower than what they are everywhere else in the world. Government has decided that for their below the poverty line, they are going to be providing healthcare through Ayushman Bharat and through their public facilities as well. So really, private sector is catering to the top sort of 30-40% of society, which of course has the most affordability. And while access and affordability both are challenges, private sector is really doing everything possible just through competition, like you said, to really make things more and more affordable for consumers. But it's a journey, and at the end of the day, I think there is a lot more partnership possibility between the government and private sector to be able to really reduce costs for the common man. I'll give you an example of GST. If tomorrow we are paying average of 12-15% GST on all input items, that could be very simply removed and that benefit could be passed on to the consumer. Like that, there are many, many such things, customs duties, many other things which could make healthcare more affordable.
Right. Hi, Ameera. This is Cheryl also joining in the conversation, and you did talk about the fact that private partnerships have been encouraged. It is in a way good as well for the healthcare sector as well as your sector as well. But what about the other need for a regulator for the diagnostic sector? I believe there were murmurs, there were talks about this, something like that in works for the sector, hoping that the industry was hoping that something like that comes about.
It's a slightly complex situation because if you actually look at the current situation today, there is zero regulation, for diagnostics or even for hospitals, very little. And there's no regulator that actually oversees whether what people are claiming they're actually doing, whether they're actually running minimum standards or not. There is nobody overseeing it. So really consumers are left to their own, circumstances. And a lot of times patients get cheated by poor quality organizations who are taking shortcuts, right? We have been urging the government for a long time to say that, look, please put, some regulatory metrics in place that remove the people who are actually not following even minimum standards for consumers. And please create incentives for following those so that you can either upgrade providers in the industry or they will be cut out because they're not meeting the minimum standards. But unfortunately, this is not being done today yet. And while there have been murmurs of interest that the government will do it, we haven't really seen that action on the ground as yet. I really certainly hope that it happens because there are too many consumers who are getting not what they asked for or not what they paid for, unfortunately, because of a lack of governance and oversight in the industry. And this is again connected to public-private partnerships as well. If you actually look at most of the state public-private partnerships, the quality and the minimum standards that the state puts out is very, very poor. And actually, therefore, the kind of people that bid for these projects also don't tend to be the highest compliance. And the best quality firms in healthcare don't land up doing public-private projects with the government. So I think if we start focusing more on quality rather than only pricing, I think we'll make great strides in healthcare to be able to make sure that whoever falls sick is truly taken care of, whether by the government or by private sector.
Truly essential, isn't it, in this day and age? But thank you so much, Ameera, for joining us on the show to give us your view and the overview of what exactly is happening in the diagnostic space and how we can actually move towards better quality of healthcare as well as diagnostics for the industry. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. But talking.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.